When LShards and Ripha are ready, we will begin the first match of the Elite Four. Thank you again, Linkable.
No problem. I'm garbage. Don't worry.
We're all garbage.
Alright, so I will be heading out for right now, and I'll be back when the match is complete.
Thank you. Sounds good.
Go ahead and have fun.
Alright, so we're gonna start right behind with our contender, Ripha MTH versus LShards. This is the first match of the Elite Four. Ripha will have to go through all 4 members if he loses once in this entire thing. And by that I mean out of a best of 5, of course. He will be disqualified and will have to come back again in a future session. Right now, both players are playing relatively equally, getting a few chips in with his Tribal Blast, getting a few hits in with his Ice Dragon, and LShards just continuing to apply that immense pressure that he is well known for with his Master Mummy. Even getting that rush and just putting himself in a position of power. More than enough to take down Ripha for the first round of the first set. Second round starting up. Ripha's switching things up a little bit. He's putting away that Ice Dragon. Not really able to get it to work for him as there's just too much pressure from Shards himself. This slap will be a lot more effective at just keeping him a little bit away, getting some knockdown, and just decent damage. And it's already working out very effectively for him, getting in while Shards is jumping, and giving him a massive lead here right at the start. LShards trying to get something going just to pressure him down and possibly make a comeback here, but it looks like Ripha had enough of a lead and enough ground that he was able to get that one last shot in and take a round for himself in this set. Now we've got Shards switching things up. He is going with the Retorture and the Phoenix. Both players have already changed up their approach to be fairly different from what they had when they first encountered each other in this league. Ripha is struggling to find some good ground, but was able to use the shield of that Ninjara holds and was successful in just getting around a lot of shots and being moved into a position where he had a lot more room to work with. Even pulling off a grab and getting himself into a more dominant position. He's ready to take the first set, and he does. That is one set for... that's 1 for Ripha, and right now it is 0 for Lance. Just make a small note that... Also, just a small note for everyone, I'm going to be focused a little more on commentary and a little more on the matches. So I am reading through chat, I am seeing that a lot of what you're saying, and there's a lot of cool things. I'm appreciating a lot of it, but I might not be as interactive as I normally am. We're beginning the second round. LShards continuing with that heavy mummy. He's gonna go back to the Megaton now. See, understanding that maybe it's better just to have that weight, that really big shield to protect him. Ripha really happy with that slap, and he's getting really slap happy with it too, getting in 2 or 3 hits within the first 20 seconds of the match. Just showing that even with the nerfs that the Slap and Slamamander have sustained most recently, they're still very powerful, very effective at what they do, and just generally really effective weapons. That Tribal, while some might not believe that it's a good choice here, is working really well just because of the fact that when uncharged, it's actually 3 separate shots, each doing 40 damage, which essentially means that it would be doing the same damage as a fully charged Tri-Blast. Both go back immediately, just full of fury, full of readiness. Shards changing up a little again, trying to find something that might be able to work a little more effectively against Ripha. But he's really struggling with the speed. Ninjara has so much speed, and it's just allowed him to dodge so many of his attacks. He's also using the shield very wisely. Not so much that Shards can call out too many grabs, but enough that when he needs it to get around a corner, he is effectively more than capable of just getting around anything that he feels might be a problem for him. Shards calls the first shield that he's as of late, is able to get a second one and makes a bit of a comeback in this round. You are correct that Slammer was the only arm that got nerfed in the latest patch, but Slap was actually nerfed some time ago because of similar reasons as to what's happened to Slam. So now they're just more within line with each other. Where before Slam was a lot more stronger, they've been balanced out, toned out so that they play a lot more similarly, but still have very different needs and different uses. Ripha taking the second set as well. More than ready to finish this off and move on to the next member of the Elite Four.
Leave, please. It's best of 5, not best of 3.
Oh, did I say 3? I meant 5, sorry.
Please.
I meant like 3, he needs one more, and that's the 3 he meant. That's what I meant, but I'm not smart. Apologies. Still a terrible commentator. Working on it. Both players ready to go back in and go for the final round. Well, not the final round. If LShards can start making his comeback, this is his last opportunity for it. If he isn't able to make a comeback though, this is his last set. Starting off fairly strongly, getting a little bit of pressure onto Ripha, some nice damage, and covering just the area fairly effectively. Ripha seeming to have a little more trouble right now getting through LShards and just that giant weight and power that Master Mummy has. I don't stutter, I don't have problems, I'm perfect. LShards for the first time in a while in these matches, taking the first round of this set. He is now in a much more dominating position. Pops off his Rush 2 to get a little more damage, and he's playing a little more patiently, a little more thoughtful. Not as hyper-aggressive as that's clearly been easily punished so much by Ripha in these rounds. Even getting LShards to land safely on the ground during that rush, a great potential opening for maybe some more damage. Nobody was really able to capitalize on that though. Ripha gets a round of his own though, so if he can take this, he has bested Lance and gets to move on with the Elite Four. If he does not though, it's going to be another round with Lance where Lance might be able to start climbing back up. And Lance has the advantage with the rush being ready and pops it off, bringing Ripha below half health and in a spot where even with that rush, he's going to need to do a decent amount of work to really come back here. Gets some of the rush, not enough to make it an immense mark, but follows it up with a grab, so now that Shards is also below half health. That retorture really starting to work with him. He's getting a couple more key shots in and is able to start the climb back. Shards now has one win under his legs. Speaking of legs, thank you Sprinting Legs for the auto host. If LShards can take the next 2 sets, he might be able to come back and just immediately shut Ripha's journey in the Elite Four down. Ripha, realizing that he might need to come up with a new strategy, maybe a different technique, puts away that Tri-Blast, just because while it is effective at getting a lot of chip damage in, and just stacking so much on an armored unit, it doesn't do anything overall in terms of actually giving Ripha the space he might need in order to handle these matches. So he's switching up to the ice, seeing if he can get a couple of good shots in with it. He's not really having much luck with that though, actually being pressured back a lot. Going for that shot, but both of those arms are very slow when it comes to initiating that rush and are very easy to miss, which we saw there as Shards was able to land, and even with that landing leg, was able to just shield the entire thing. Also giving him more than enough opportunity to take the first round. Ripha going back to the Tri-Blast, sticking with his guns. It's very clear now that that ranged power that the Ice Dragon normally would bring is not really going to work here because Shards is just way too up close and personal. There's just no room for him to really work with things. Shards getting a rush off as well, really getting comfortable with what this match is supposed to look like and how he can possibly climb all the way back up from losing the first 2 sets. Ripha punishing that approach, just handedly crushing him with a really powerful rush of his own, bringing them both to 1-1. Shards switching things out one more time, going back to that Megaton, trying to see if maybe that little bit of weight might help him out here. It hasn't had much luck for him before, but maybe this time he'll find a way to get it to fit in with his approach. Able to bait out a grab and counter it with a well-timed rush, knocking Ripha low into the 25% health range. And it looks like he's just about ready to fall, and he does. It is best out of 5. So we now have Ripha and LShards both with 2. LShards making an incredible comeback. Not ready to fall so easily as the first member of the Elite Four. Just because he's first, guys, doesn't mean you can take him lightly. Shards taking a bit of a breather, getting his wits to himself. Me looking for my water because I'm getting a bit parched because I'm doing way too much talking these days. And here they go into the next and final set that these 2 competitors will be a part of. From here on, it's either the end of Ripha's climb for this week, or it's the end of LShards and his indomitable fortress for Ripha's climb. I don't know. Shards starting off very strong. Strong Snack might be a meme, but Strong Mummy is also a very important thing to keep in mind. As he pulls off a couple of grabs, getting that 400 damage in, and just blow after blow with that Phoenix and Megaton. Now it's Ripha at the back heel. After climbing so high and so quickly, he is finally in a position where if he loses one more time, he is out. Ripha playing it very safely, getting that rush, safely dodging it, and he pops his own, isn't able to do much either, but unlike Shards, he is able to get some chip damage and knock Shard's arm down because of the shield damage that his rush gave him. Giving him a little bit more of an opportunity to get a little bit more damage in. Those explosions doing a lot of work for him. The little pierces of the tribal doing just handfuls of very important damage, getting him a little bit closer to that KO. Gets one big shot in, and now it's just one more hit for Ripha, and he'll be able to safely take this into the final. But Shards pops his rush in attempt to just end it right now. Ripha determined to hold on to his rush, not trying to lose it, just decides to pop it to get that last hit in so he can just move on and get a full bar of health, possibly not wipe himself out. And here we go, the final. Ripha at a little bit of a disadvantage here, mostly in terms of just not as much rush to begin with, but he quickly brings that back with his aggression that Ninjar is so well known for. Not really focusing on punishing with grabs, just trying to get in those light punishes, make it so Shards feels a little comfortable and just continuing to be aggressive, but still getting all the beautiful damage that the Tri-Blast is more than capable of doing in such a battle. Shards trying to bait out that rush by staying close and applying intense pressure. Ripha trying to stay safe though and be very careful with that rush and use it incredibly wisely. Notices that Shards was being a little more hesitant, a little more patient, and is able to capitalize on that. Shards brings him down to low health with that rush, and now, if Ripha isn't careful, it's curtains for him. And he gets hit. Holding that rush for maybe just a little too long. If he had just taken it, he potentially could have even went for a shield break at that point, and it might have been able to shut down the Master Mummy. But he is not able to pull that off, and is knocked out from the Elite Four against his first opponent.
Oh my god. That match. Holy crap. That was like really... Oh, that was really close. That was amazing, you two. Great job.
That was a great
amazing
match.
job, Ripha. Holy cow.